Hi everybody, I'm here with Misa Terral and she is going to be leading a workshop called Dancing Your Edge coming up soon. And so this brief interview is about that workshop and her work here at Alchemy. Misa teaches every single Friday morning at 9 at the studio, and she teaches Soul Sweat. So can you tell me a little bit about what you're going to be doing in this work?
Okay, well, first of all, thanks for giving us the opportunity to do something like this. For me, dance, I think I've shared plenty of times how much has changed my life, and so having the space, like 2 hours, to share part of my journey and be able to translate that into a workshop where other people can maybe take some of the things that I've learned, so it could just infuse their dance a little bit more as well, whether it's emotion or choreography or letting things go. And the edge portion is...
Let me just pause you right there.
Okay,
yeah,
I'm excited.
This is so exciting, and I want to say you're welcome for that. And I'm really excited because I think the community has a lot to learn from you, especially in this area. And so it's a gift that keeps giving. It goes both directions. It's really, really cool. Yeah, so go on.
So I think I've shared in the past about just my own personal journey with dealing with buried demons, and I'd never ever believed or knew or even thought that dance could bring those out. At first it was always about the joy, and I think it starts there. We move because it feels good and we love it, and then as we dance further and spend more time in the studio, we start to notice the little things come up. For me, I noticed women that were dancing up close to the mirror that had complete abandon. Like, they didn't care what their moves looked like, they didn't care what they were wearing, they were just completely free. And I knew that I wanted that.
Yeah.
But what did I have to climb, or what hurdles did I have to jump to get there? And slowly move myself from the back of the studio to the front in the mirror, where I feel like, I don't mind looking at what I'm seeing in the mirror.
Yeah.
So what are those edges? And then as an instructor, that took me to a whole new level as far as picking what music we would dance to, what moves will we use, and how do those elements of dance and the music, for sure, as far as the lyrics of the song, the beat of the song, the meaning behind the song, how do we use that to help us work our edges? So that's what the workshop is going to be more about, looking at the song choices, looking at the quality of the movements and the elements. In our instructor training, we learned a lot about how the elements dictate the emotion that comes out, not only of the song, but of the dance. So I'm going to be talking about those things as well, and because we all have our tendencies, we all have our habits that we do in dance, and it's really about breaking those habits and moving through those habits to create a whole new dance, a whole new way of presence and being.
Yeah, I wonder if you could just share a little bit with people who are watching now, just a little bit about that process, because I know for me and for, like you're saying, lots of people, we all come with our demons and our edges, and dance has been an incredible way of breaking through a lot of those for me. But I just wonder almost just about that process from the back of the room to the front of the room, or if you could just speak to any of the nuance of that, or how you'll be working with those edges kind of in real time.
Okay, well, it's going to take some vulnerability. So if you've been to my classes before, you know there is a lot about exposing the insides. So being willing to share what some of those edges are, being able to speak it and use it as part of your story. So my story, of course, had a lot to do with body image and wearing these, drabby exercise clothes. They were exercise clothes, and nothing against exercise clothes, but I didn't realize how much, even just the tiniest thing is what you wear can really change how you dance. And so it started out with maybe buying some new clothes just splurging
And
a
what do
little
you
bit.
call an outfit like this now? What is this?
Well,
what
this
the
is
title of
actually
this?
advertised as festival clothing.
Oh,
can't
I
it,
see.
and you know, I love that because it's about having a party. It's really about having a good time and letting your colors shine. So clothing is just one piece.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're not going to be doing any kind of workshop on clothing, but it's
It's
just
a way of adorning yourself, or
Yes.
showing up, or hiding versus showing off.
Yes.
It sounds like in this case.
And so on the opposite end of that edge, I was one of those people, I'm admitting it, I would look at the people that were all, when me in my drabby exercise clothes, I would see these beautiful clothes, and I'm like, wow, it's almost like a peacock showing off. And what I grew to understand is that it's really not about showing off, it's really about showing up. And just letting yourself own that expression. And so I judged myself, and because I judged myself, it was easy to judge other people and how they dressed. And now it's completely the opposite side. Like, I can show up and wear what I want to wear and not care what other people think. And if somebody has a problem with what I'm wearing, maybe that's an edge they want to look at.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
it's like almost the exact opposite on some level. It's like, it sounds like your judgments were being able to externalize both the way you're feeling about yourself was outside, and then on the other side now you're like, well, people can think what they want to think, and they can do what they want to do.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of the growth process. And the judgment it just falls away, and you just realize how you feel about yourself, how vulnerable you are with yourself is an exact reflection of how you look at other people. So
should the people who are out there today that are watching, like, should they be preparing a little bit of their edge before they come in, or
just a little? I mean, you know, I'll create a safe container, and people don't have to share what they don't want to share. But maybe just pick one thing that you want to work on, whether it's being sexy and sensual, or maybe it is clothing, or maybe it's being able to work yourself from the back to the front of the room, or even just looking in the mirror. That's edgy enough as itself, which is why most people stand I'll speak for myself, why I stood in the back, because I didn't want to get close to the mirror. So that's an edge we can work with.
Yeah.
Another edge is choreography. I can't tell you how many people tell me, oh, I'm not a dancer. I'm like, girl, if you're in here, you're a dancer.
But people that come to the studio say that to you?
Yes. And they'll
That's
apologize
hilarious.
to me because, and I get it, because we're so self-conscious, and it's one of the biggest edges we have to work is our self-consciousness, and being allowed to make mistakes, and giving yourself permission to make it up. All of us teachers talk about that, but that's one of the biggest edges I think people deal with when they come in here, because they want to get it right and perfect, and if they don't get it right and they don't get it perfect, they're not a dancer.
Oh, that's too bad.
It's not true.
I always say, if you have a heartbeat, you're a dancer. Like, if you have a beat of your heart.
Yes, that's it.
My last question for you is a little bit about just this piece around the specific edge, but then also being in community. I know for myself, there's been times where I've been very focused on, you know, myself in the mirror and what's wrong, or what's maybe my own judgments. And over time, my lens has shifted to be taking in kind of the group that's in the room. And I kind of wonder just about this specific workshop. I just wonder a little bit about this piece, like each person's bringing in their own story. And I've spent so much time looking in the mirror and delving into my own demons and my own negative thought patterns. And then I forget, like, we're in this group and there's all of these people who are all sharing their stories. And so I think something that sounds really unique about this work is actually being in a space to hear the stories of the other dancers, hearing about their vulnerability. And I just wonder about the impact of that in terms of working with edges, or from your work with vulnerability, what you think the impact might be.
Sure. There's something organic that happens, especially in the studio, and I'm actually seeing it, it happens in most groups, as you know. When you tell people your story and you open up, there's a connection that happens, because we all see each other better in our brokenness than we do in our perfection. So what I've noticed, that people that keep showing up and they keep coming, something happens because they are learning to be vulnerable, because they're sharing their stories and being broken open. They're starting to gravitate towards each other, and natural community is being created. So this workshop is probably a speed track to that, because assuming we're getting a group of strangers together, and instead, because we don't talk about these things when we show up for a Soul Sweat class, we just show up, and we know that we need to be there for whatever reason, and maybe some people don't know and they just show up anyway. But this workshop allows us to dig a little deeper and really talk about what is it about dance that keeps us showing up. What is it about dance that breaks the barriers and opens ourselves up and allows us to gravitate toward others and find connection. So yeah, this workshop will be a fast track to what we work on.
Just that sentence, like, we see each other more clearly in our brokenness. I just think that's so touching, and I think it actually speaks a little to how I know you and your character, and like the depth in which and presence you show up, and the vulnerability you always show up, and the safety I feel to be myself in your presence. So I feel like it's a real gift that you're giving. It feels like naturally a natural gift.
Yes.
Yeah, that you show up with.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. And we've all talked about how dance is therapy. Yeah. It is. It's much cheaper than real therapy, and I don't know. And you get to move your body in the process, and you get to cry if you want to, without judgment, or explode in ecstasy and joy without judgment. So.
Are welcome to come join Misa with Dancing Your Edges July 8th for the Alchemy of Movement workshop series here at the studio. And I think it's going to be a wonderful time.
So. Yeah, hope to see you there.
Hope to see you there.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.